You're sitting at your desk, your inbox pings. A message from your boss, subject line, "Can we talk?" Nothing else, no context. And in less than a second, your heart rate spikes, your palms go damp, your stomach tightens like a fist. Nobody is chasing you. Nothing is attacking you. But your body doesn't know that. Your body thinks it's being hunted. Think about the last time you felt that jolt. Maybe it was a text that took too long to reply. Maybe it was a car horn behind you at a red light. Maybe it was simply the feeling of being watched in a crowded room. Your chest tightened, your breathing quickened, and somewhere beneath your ribs, ancient machinery switched on, the exact same machinery your ancestors used when a lion crept through tall grass toward the edge of camp. Why would a work email trigger the same system built for predators? The answer starts with a part of your brain most people have heard of, but few truly understand: the amygdala. It's small, shaped roughly like an almond, tucked deep inside your skull, and its entire job, its only job, is to scan the world for danger and respond before you've even had time to think. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux at New York University spent decades mapping exactly how this works. His research revealed something remarkable. When your senses detect a potential threat, the information doesn't go straight to your rational, thinking brain first. It takes a shortcut, a pathway Ledoux called the low road, straight to the amygdala. This shortcut is fast, but it's also careless. It reacts to shapes and shadows and sounds before your slower, smarter cortex has a chance to check whether the threat is real. That's why a coiled garden hose can make you flinch like it's a snake. That's why a slammed door can send your heart racing before you consciously register the sound. Your amygdala doesn't wait for accuracy. It trades precision for speed, because for most of human history, speed was the only thing that mattered. Imagine for a moment an ancestor walking across open grassland roughly 2 million years ago. No walls, no weapons beyond a sharpened stick. Lions, hyenas, and leopards moved through the same land, and unlike today, humans were not always the predator. For long stretches of our evolutionary past, our ancestors were prey. Anthropologists Donna Hart and Robert Sussman built an entire body of research around this idea, one they called Man the Hunted. Their analysis of fossil remains found tooth marks from big cats embedded in ancient hominid bones, claw punctures, crushed skulls consistent with predator bites. The evidence suggested early humans were, quite literally, on the menu. Survival didn't depend on strength. It depended on a nervous system that could detect danger a half-second before it arrived and launch the body into motion without waiting for permission. That half-second still lives inside you. When your amygdala perceives threat, it triggers a cascade throughout your body. Your hypothalamus signals your adrenal glands to release adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate climbs to pump blood toward your muscles. Your pupils dilate to gather more visual information. Your digestion slows because digesting lunch is irrelevant if you're about to be eaten. Every system not immediately useful for fighting or fleeing gets deprioritized in an instant. This is what's often called the fight-or-flight response, though researchers now recognize a broader spectrum. Sometimes the body chooses freeze instead, a kind of held-breath stillness that may have helped ancestors avoid detection altogether. Sometimes it's a mix, but in every version, the goal is identical. Survive the next few seconds. Think about the consequences later. Here's where the story becomes strange, because your nervous system, brilliant as it is, never received an update. It cannot tell the difference between a lion in the grass and a passive-aggressive email from your boss. It cannot tell the difference between a genuine physical attack and a heated argument with your partner. To your amygdala, threat is threat. Speed matters more than nuance. Psychologist Robert Sapolsky at Stanford spent years studying this exact mismatch, largely through his research on stress in baboons. Sapolsky found that wild baboons experience intense stress responses during real emergencies, a predator attack, a fight for social rank, and then recover almost immediately once the danger passes. Humans, by contrast, can trigger that same stress response by simply imagining a future threat, replaying a past conflict, or worrying about a bill that isn't due for another 2 weeks. Sapolsky's central insight was blunt. Humans are uniquely capable of turning on a survival system built for a lion attack, using nothing but a thought. Does that mean your stress response is broken? Not exactly. It means it's outdated. Built for immediate physical danger, and now firing constantly in response to abstract, ongoing psychological danger. A predator would eventually leave or be escaped. An overdue project, a strained relationship, a stack of unpaid bills. These threats don't leave. They linger, which means the nervous system built to handle 60 seconds of terror is instead running for weeks, months, sometimes years. This has consequences. Chronically elevated cortisol has been linked to disrupted sleep, weakened immune function, and long-term cardiovascular strain. The very system designed to keep you alive during a 5-minute emergency can quietly work against you when it never gets the signal to stand down. And modern life is remarkably good at keeping that signal switched on. Notifications arrive like tiny ambushes. News feeds present an endless parade of threats, some real, some distant, most impossible to act on. Traffic, deadlines, social conflict, financial pressure, none of it involves teeth or claws, yet your amygdala treats each one with the same ancient urgency it once reserved for a genuine predator at the edge of camp. So the next time your chest tightens over something that rationally poses no physical danger at all, remember what's actually happening beneath the surface. That isn't weakness. That isn't overreaction. That's a survival system built across millions of years, doing exactly what it evolved to do, whether or not the moment actually calls for it. You're sitting at your desk, your inbox pings, and your body still thinks it's being hunted. But now you know the truth. There is no lion in the grass. There's only a message and a brain that hasn't caught up to how safe you actually are.